Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name's Joanne and I make cleaning and organisation videos, and in today's video I'm going to be doing some mini organisation projects in my home. So I'm taking either a drawer or a cupboard or a part of a cupboard and organising a space that isn't quite working well for me. So I've got a few of them in my home, so let's jump right into it. So the first space is what I call the dog drawer. So this is basically where we keep leads and collars and bags, stuff to clean the sofa and that kind of thing. And as you can see, it's a hot mess. So I think I'll start by pulling everything out and see what we've got, see what can stay here, see what might need to move into another area of the home, and we'll go from there. So here we've got their brushes that we groom them with. Here we've got some balls, so sort of toy section. Back here are things that we don't use on a daily basis. So it's a harness, a spare collar, spare lead, that kind of thing that we're not going to grab on a daily basis. So that can go in a less easy to reach area. Here we've got their current collars and leads. Here are all the dog bags. Here are, hiding under here, the sort of brushes that we use for the sofa or any sort of fabric that gets fur on it. And here is the sort of miscellaneous section. So we've got the car harness here, a light for if they're being walked in the dark and those kind of things. So I'm just gonna basically go through this drawer and give it a clean out, and then sort of see how I think everything might fit best before I work out what kind of storage items I might need. So here I'm just pulling out the drawer divider that I had in there and giving everything a good vacuum. There was a lot of dirt and dust that had settled in the drawer, and then gave it a spray with some all-purpose cleaner and a wipe down with the microfiber cloth. And then here I've decided that I'm going to use a container to store all the doggy bags, so I'm just folding them all up and popping them in there. So I've got these bamboo drawer inserts from Kmart, and what I did yesterday is I basically took some of these that I had in other areas of my house, and I just put it in here to size everything up and see what would fit where and what I needed to store, so which ones would be best. So I worked out what I needed and I went and got them yesterday. So let's get into organising this drawer. So as I mentioned, I sized up the drawers yesterday and I wasn't too sure how I wanted to organise it. So it's fine if it's not something that you know straight away, but I've worked out what's going to fit and what's going to work best for everything. So all the extra leads are going to go in here, and then this is a stackable storage container, and that will go on top with leads and everything else. And these all fit around nicely as well. And here we have the finished product. So you can see everything fitted really nicely into those containers. I've got the stackable containers, which makes great use of the vertical space to house things that we don't use on a daily basis, kept underneath, and everything else fits nicely. And we've got a little gap of space in between the balls and the doggy bags as well, if we need to add anything else. So I've got this tub in here with different face things, so things like face masks, some makeup, some other bits and pieces, face masks, that kind of thing. And it's all just dumped in there. So what I'm going to do is use this divider drawer, which essentially just pulls out and has compartments in it to try and categorize everything. everything's been neatly organised. I've got a little rubbish pile of things to go in the bin, and then everything organised in the drawer container and the small narrow container that's going to sit on top. So in full disclosure, I really didn't like the way this particular drawer unit worked. It is a great option, but I just don't think it worked quite as well for this space, just because I want to utilize the height that we've got here. And by using this shallow sort of drawer, I wasn't able to hold longer items or taller items like this. They just wouldn't stand up properly in them. So I basically just rearranged what I already had and categorized it a bit better. So I've still kept everything kind of grouped the way I had it. So all the face masks and other face stuff back here, all the little sample products and some masks. This is all sort of extra stuff, so extra makeup that I don't use all that often, extra brushes, extra face cloth, that kind of thing. And then this is the stuff that I use on a more regular basis. And I actually think that this will just work a lot better. So again, didn't cost me anything because it's containers that I already had. It's just about reorganizing and rearranging. And sometimes it is a bit of trial and error. You don't have to feel like you need to get it right the first time. And just because you buy something thinking it's going to work doesn't mean that it's always going to, and it's okay to rearrange things if it's not working the way you want it. So I'm much happy with how this is. So next up is this space in the laundry room. So everything's somewhat contained, and you can see how I did this in my laundry room organisation video. But you can see we've just got some loose things just hanging up there, and again some extra stuff here that again is just sitting there and not really clearly categorised or organised. So I'm just going to try and contain things a bit more. So this one's a pretty easy and straightforward organisation. I'm basically just pulling everything out of the shelves and popping them into containers so everything is grouped together rather than just hanging out on the shelf, and it just makes things easier to grab. So I'm just doing that on both the shelves. So in this space we've got the Lazy Susan, which worked really well, so I'm not going to change that because that is perfect and really easy to grab what we need. And then I've got this tiered storage where I just keep some extra spice jars. But then we've got this sort of middle section that's basically, you can see there's just a few things piled on top of one another, and it's not really organised efficiently. So I'm just going to see if I can try and tidy that up a little bit. Also decided to organise the container that has all our extra herbs and spices in it. So any spares of any herbs and spices or bulk items that we buy, and I'm just rearranging that here and then using this small container for that little middle section. And here you'll see me doing more rearranging. I wasn't happy with how I'd organised things in that white container, so I decided to pull things out, move things around a bit and organise it a bit more neatly. So here is the finished space. As you can see, things are looking much neater and tidier. It's not a major transformation, but it makes a huge difference when you're trying to access certain things. So I've been able to group things in a nice orderly fashion rather than having things piled one on top of the other. So I really hope this video gave you a few ideas and some motivation for organising some small spaces in your home. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to check out more of my organisation videos, and I'll see you in my next one.